Welcome to Transforming the Toddler Years, a Core 4 parenting podcast for conscious, cycle-breaking parents ready to turn toddler tantrums into teachable moments. Hi, I'm Cara Tyrrell, a lifetime lover of littles, mom to 2 grown and flown girls, and an early childhood educator. Through the show, I teach you my collaborative parenting methodology for nurturing your little human's mind, body, and spirit. Because how you connect and collaborate in the first 5 years is how you raise happy, healthy kids who grow into the best version of themselves and find true success in school and life. Welcome back to the Transforming the Toddler Years show, Toddler Tribe. Today, I am talking about how to savor moments with your kids, how to really reframe your mindset to be present when things are challenging. Yeah, that's the key here. So I want to tell you a story about my time in Japan with my daughter, Caroline. And many of you are on my email list. If you're not, go get on it. Show notes. You got updates from me while I was in Tokyo visiting her, and I was in awe of her this entire time. Before I dive into, I guess this actually is relevant, right, to savoring moments. I spent 3 weeks with her in her new life, in a new country. I basically was just follow the leader. She brought me to her church. I got to observe her in that element. She brought me to her job. I got to watch her tutor kids in English as a second language. She brought me to her school. I got to work in the student union while she took her final exam, her last one for the semester. She brought me to the countryside where she was an organic farmer, a volunteer when she first arrived there, and has built this relationship with the women out in the countryside. I got to be part of that experience too. It was just 3 weeks of being in awe of the adult who is the child that I remember from tinyhood. And it got me thinking about how to savor moments when you know they're fleeting and when they're hard. And that's your life. Those of you out there listening, that is your life with your tiny people, right? There's a lot of hard, challenging moments, but you know that they're fleeting. You know that they don't last long in the grand scheme of raising a human. All right, so the story. We're out in the countryside, and in Tokyo, what that means is that you live authentically the way that Japanese culture lives. Beds? Nope. Rolled out mats on floors, and they're not all that cozy. I stacked mine 3 deep just to see if these almost 50-year-old bones could handle it a little better, but it was challenging. Sleeping was hard. It means that there's no air conditioning. And every single day that I was there was peak heat, excessive heat for their time of year. What that means is about 96 to 97 on the Fahrenheit scale, plus humidity. So the real feel was about 105 to a 108. No air conditioning, right? This is authentic living out in the Japanese country. They were challenges for me because of what I'm so used to. And then I got to bunk with Caroline. So here's the coolest part. It's our last night. Originally, I had my own room and she had her own room and we were each doing our own thing. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. So because there's no air conditioning, what you need to do at night is keep your screens, keep everything open so that the screens can filter whatever breeze might come through, however small. The screens have holes ripped all through them. And so you're just inviting bugs at all times into your abode. And so, yeah, on the floor, on a mat, you're hot, literally sweating while sleeping, and the bugs are biting you. Am I painting a beautiful picture? For those of you that camp, maybe this is something you're very used to. Whoops. I was not, but here is what I had to do. I had to I had to reframe what was happening to savor the moment with my child. So here I am. Last night, another family comes to volunteer on the farm. So they get my old room and I'm sleeping with Caroline. It's this tiny space and her mat is, our mats are touching. It's very cute, actually, until it's been hours and hours and hours. I'm still wide awake. She's fast asleep. And in the next room, this family with a 2-year-old, this 2-year-old is crying and crying and crying in the middle of the night. And because our brains are organically wired to go to the negative, especially in the middle of the night, especially when we've been a little sleep deprived, I obviously started thinking things that were not helpful in that moment. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. There's no way I can do this. And then I had this epiphany experience where I realized what was actually happening. This 2-year-old in the room next door who was crying used to be Caroline. And I used to be the one who thought those were the hard moments. I had to get up, go attend to her, see what the issue was, try to get her back to sleep, get myself back to sleep. Another family had a 2-year-old who was struggling in that moment, while I was literally watching my fast-forward adult version of her sleep peacefully. Her chest was rising, her chest was falling, her face was calm in sleep. And it was a spiritual moment for me. It was one of those don't blink, you'll miss it moments that we all talk about, right? The nights are long, but the years are short. And I started crying in the middle of the night, lying on a bamboo mat, listening and empathizing for a 2-year-old who was struggling to sleep in a new place while watching and being in awe of the life that my adult daughter feels so confident and calm and content in. I might cry now, actually. There is nothing more powerful, nothing more rewarding as a parent than watching your child thrive without you. I know it sounds incredibly hard, the without you part, right? I flew back from Japan knowing she wants me in her life. She values me in her life, but she doesn't need me to thrive in her life. And this felt like the pinnacle for me. Such a special moment. So how do you savor the challenging moments right now? It's tricky stuff. But in those moments where your toddlers and your preschoolers are falling apart, in those moments where your brain automatically pulls the negative and turns to self, right? Like I did. This is going to affect me so badly. I'm going to struggle. Or turns to outward shame and blame. Why can't he just get it together? We really don't need this right now. In that moment, and this is going to sound so counterintuitive to everything that everybody else tells you, but in the moment that you are struggling the most, get out of the moment. What? That sounds ridiculous, right? No, it's real. In the moment that you are struggling the moment, get out of it. Take yourself out of that present moment, because for you, you're in fight or flight. You're in survival mode in that moment, and nobody can do good things from there. Pull yourself to the past. Remember a time when it was going really well, so you can get the flow of that memory and that awe and that dopamine hit that you need to pull yourself back or push yourself forward. Picture what it's going to look like when that little one of yours has learned the coping mechanisms, has learned the skills, has learned the regulation strategies they need so that they can be successful in a moment like the one you're having. Find your reframe, whether it's backwards or forwards, to come back to the moment that you're in so that you can savor that moment and know that it matters and know that you're in it for the long haul. It's not just about this meltdown right now. It's about the energy you bring to it. It's about the way you show up. It's about the words you choose. It's about the strategies you're using, because you're going to use them over the long game. And then you are going to have a full circle moment someday. And it will bring you to tears the way it did me. So many more powerful realizations to come from all of my traveling and my journeying and my observing. But for today, take this one. And when, I'm not going to say if, probably a foregone conclusion, when your child melts down at some point today, try this strategy. See what happens. I am rooting for you. Do me a favor, scroll all the way down to the bottom. If you made it to the end of this episode, 11 minutes in, please scroll down to the bottom, give us a rating, review the show, share it with somebody you know that needs to hear it. Until our next episode, stay mindful and proactive as we transform the toddler years.